Thanks to our witnesses. This is a fascinating discussion. I want to begin with you, Madame Wong, because you represent a company that has enormous expertise in power and diversified power. And I'm interested because recently you walked away from the Genesee project near Edmonton, and that was a big $2.4 billion carbon capture project. And that really took everyone, I think, a bit by surprise. And some analysts suggested that you guys walked away because of financial and technical uncertainty about the project. Could you explain why the Genesee project was shelved?
Thank you for the question. I'm going to pass this question to be answered by my colleague, Daniel Viryu.
Thank you, May. And Mr. Chair, I assume it's okay for me to proceed?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of the Genesee announcement, as we stated publicly at the time of the announcement, there were two parts to it. We had completed a front-end engineering and design study that did confirm the technology was viable and practical in the mode of operations that we were envisioning. But at this time, it was just not economically viable, taking into account a number of considerations. So the decision was made to stand down on it for this time, but we did also state, and we stand by, that we would definitely reassess it if economic circumstances and conditions change, and that relates to things such as the costs of the technology itself, and commodity pricing and other factors. So that was.
Thank you for that. I'm interested because I was reading the Business Council of Alberta had said they raised serious questions about the Canadian Energy Regulator's performance standard for CCS, and they said that technologically it is, quote, currently unachievable. And that report was done before the Genesee project was mothballed. So do you think the Business Council of Alberta is wrong in saying that the technology is currently unachievable at the rate that it's needed and required for CCS?
I haven't seen the Business Council report, but in terms of, I think there's the technical work we did, identified the attainable or the expected level of performance of the technology given the mode of operations. In the context of the discussions that are underway regarding the clean electricity standards, there is a discussion of whether the assumed standard that would be included in that reflects the capability of the technology. So that may have been what the report was referring to, but there's a distinction between what the vendors have assured us that the technology can achieve and what may or may not be reflected in any regulations.
The regulation is a 95% containment, which there have been complaints that that's not technologically feasible. I guess my concern is that the CER says that in order to meet our targets, there's going to have to be a 39 times increase in CCS from current levels. So if it's not financially feasible, and you guys have crunched the math, you guys are forefront in terms of power generation. If it's not feasible for you, what's it going to take? Are you looking at, is it going to have to be public subsidies to make CCS work, or is it financially just not doable?
At this time, it's not viable given the existing current cost, or commodity cost outlook, and the suite of support mechanisms that are in place.
So, because we're told, certainly our friends in the Liberals keep telling us that this thing is going to take off, it's going to deal with it, but you're dealing with it from a practical point of view. You say you've looked at the technology, you've got a big project. This was $2.4 billion near Edmonton, but you're saying it's not financially feasible. So would you make suggestions for what, more public money to operate these plants, or is it just not doable?
I'd note that it just reflected the economics for our project at this time. CCS and other sectors faces different cost considerations, and I can't speculate on what may or may not work for other projects at different sizes.
Because your natural gas plant, right? Wasn't it a natural gas plant?
We were proposing to put the carbon capture unit on the back end of the two new combined cycle units that we're nearing completion of at Genesee, and as Ms. Wong noted.
Okay, I guess my concern is that this would be hugely beneficial for continuing to use natural gas because it's coming under a lot of pressure for its fossil fuel use. So if we had a new plant that had natural gas that we could capture 95%, that would make a huge difference in being able to sell that to the public. But if there's no financial case, then we're going to have to look at other options, are we not?
It's not economic today, but we are looking. Yes, we will need to look at other options in any event because the CCS, small modular reactors, hydrogen, geothermal, we think they all have a role and they all provide that zero emitting dispatchable power markets need. So there's still we think a pathway to CCS in the future, but we also do need to advance other technologies as well.
Okay, thank you very much.